Hey there. I am back to help you push out that thing called purpose. So, I was praying for you this morning, right? And actually, I got propelled to this place by during my quiet time with God. I heard patiently wait. And I'm like, okay, patiently wait. And then while I was praying about what to do for one more minute, it's kind of like the two started coming together because I was like, God, what keeps us from fulfilling our purpose? And one of the things that came to me was discouragement. I'm like, okay, so what are we discouraged about? And I believe we're discouraged because sometimes it seems that the promises we know we've heard from God aren't manifesting. And I believe that our promise and our purpose are connected. And it's like the promise or that dream is the paycheck, and our purpose is our employment. And you're not real smart if you go out to get a job, I don't think. If you go out and get a job and you don't know what the pay is. But it's like God gives us that ahead of time. He tells us ahead of time by giving us that dream, by giving us that promise. He lets us know what to look forward to. But we don't want to do our part. We don't want the employment aspect. We don't want to do purpose. Ain't no need in being discouraged if you're not doing your part. It's like a woman knowing that she's been promised a baby from her own body. And I ain't even talking about adoption. That this woman is going to have a baby, but she never does what it takes to get pregnant. It doesn't even make sense. There was one Virgin Mary. You ain't her. You got to do something. Faith without works is dead. We need to work out our faith. If you believe that that thing is going to come to pass, if you hope that this dream is going to manifest, you've got to do your part. Y'all, we just got to do our part. Don't get discouraged. Get motivated. Get to the place where you're like, you know what? I'm going to make sure I'm handling mine. So look, I went to the scripture to see what it is about this patiently waiting. And Hebrews 10:36 says, "For you have need of patience, that after you have done the will of God," in other words, after you have done purpose, you might receive the promise. But it's after you've done the will of God in your life. That's when you have patience. Because it's going to come to pass. That was King James Version. The Amplified Version says, "For you have need of patient endurance to bear up under difficult circumstances without compromise, so that when you have carried out the will of God, you may receive and enjoy to the full what is promised." Y'all, do not compromise. Some people are in relationships, in jobs, in houses that they really don't even want now because they were just trying to make the thing come to pass. You have no idea how close you were to the real thing showing up in your life. And if you're in that position right now where you're feeling like, man, don't do it. Wait on God. There's a reason it hasn't manifested. So I'm telling you, in this, here's the curse word, process between purpose and promise, I need you to keep preparing. Okay? Maybe you're not ready spiritually or emotionally to receive that promise yet. And remember that every delay is in your favor. It's working for your good. So whether it's your ministry, your marriage, your house, your health, or your wealth that you're believing God for, don't back up now. Don't get crazy with it now. Don't decide to step out now. Abraham had a promise and Sarah knew it. And Sarah was like, yo, I know you said, God said you got generations coming out of you. It ain't coming out of old girl. So let's just do this. Let's call the maidservant. You go on and get with her so you can have your promise. That's not what God said. Sarah was going to be the one to push out this promise. Y'all, you're going to push this thing out. Don't compromise. Waiting is okay because what you get is going to be worth it. Abraham and Sarah waited 25 years for Isaac. Joseph waited 13 years between the pit and the palace. Joshua and Caleb waited 40 years in the desert to get to Canaan. David waited 15 years from the time he was anointed until he stepped in the kingship. And Jesus himself was on this earth 30 years before he stepped into his ministry. So I'm telling you, you're in good company. You just better sit on yourself now. Settle yourself. Settle your heart, but work those hands. This has been One More Minute with Marcy. I'll be back tomorrow with another moment of momentum-producing motivation. Until then, stay encouraged and remember, you gotta flutter before you can fly. Now tell your purpose, come alive.